The best deep dish pizza in the entire world is Chicago, Illinois. Incorporated 1837, home of the 6-time NBA champion Bulls, and birthplace of world-famous deep dish pizza. What's good, YouTube? It's LUISGUSTO. Welcome back to Chicago. We are on a mission to find the #1 deep dish pizza. So in this film, we're gonna be visiting 5 of the Windy City's best pizzerias. Spoiler alert, not one of them is named Lou's. We're gonna be eating a ton of Chicago-style deep dish pizza, and by the end, we'll crown the undisputed champion. So go ahead and finesse that like button, and let's get ready to eat some pizza with a fork and a knife. Of all the pizzerias on our agenda, Bartoli's is the newest, having been founded in 2013 by Brian Tondrick. They're located right off the Addison Brown Line station. Let's go inside and get some deep dish. Steve Dolinsky calls this his #1 Chicago deep dish pizza, so it has quite a reputation preceding it. To make this competition fair, at every single pizzeria, we're getting a medium sausage deep dish pizza, Chicago style, baby. That's the only way to level the playing field. They also do sell it by the slice. By the way, John, it's not gonna be 99 cents. I take big bites of pizza. That's the only way to do it, in my opinion. So they brought that pizza fresh out the oven. All the flavors are meshing super well together. I gotta get a second bite. With deep dish pizza, there are 2 debates. Now, outside the city, the debate is this real pizza or not? And of course, you all know that infamous Jon Stewart rant. He goes off and says that it's not pizza. We're gonna ignore that because the fact of the matter is, this is pizza, period. Now, inside the city, there's that debate, do real Chicagoans eat deep dish pizza? And the answer is, it kind of depends. Personally, if I'm not filming for the channel, I'm going for that tavern style pizza that most people go for. Growing up, that's what my family ordered pretty much every single time. Now, when I have friends and family coming into town, yeah, they want deep dish. So we'll take them to Lou's or Gino's or Giordano's, because that's usually where they want to go. So I indulge them. But there are other locals that eat deep dish pizza on a regular basis. It just depends on your own taste. Obviously, all these deep dish pizzerias, they're not gonna survive just off the tourist dollars alone. It's been a cold and snowy weekend, so a nice warm deep dish pizza pie is perfect to feed the soul. When you got a big slice of pie and the cheese and sauce are oozing everywhere, you probably wanna use a fork and a knife. But once you get to the end of the pizza, you can just pick up the crust like this and go for it. The crust goes from golden to brown on a nice gradient. That tomato sauce is beautiful red. You can tell they use fresh tomatoes here. So much cheese is just oozing out as you slice it. It's time for the first official rating. We're gonna be rating the crust, the cheese, the sauce, and the Italian sausage. All right, for the crust, I would say 4 out of 5. I liked it under the pizza, but once I got to the end and started eating the crust, it wasn't as good to me. The sauce, though, I have to give a 5 out of 5. It's got a little bit of tanginess. The tomatoes, they taste very fresh. For the cheese, I'm gonna have to say 4 out of 5. It was nice and ooey gooey, but it lacked a little bit of flavor, like a little bit of bite to it. But the sausage, I have to give a 5 out of 5. It's kind of unique to me, like seeing the big chunks of Italian sausage in there. The flavor was on point, and every flavor of everything meshed well together. So overall, a great piece of pizza.
We're gonna be comparing all these different deep dish pizzas. We're gonna find the best one for you all. Got a nice square bite. There's almost a bit of a sweet flavor in there. Some pizzas have like patties, some have little sprinkles. These are like giant chunks of sausage. I got really excited when Louis was cutting the pizza because I saw cheese oozing out over the sides. We couldn't get the cheese to stop pulling. There was so much cheese. That is full of flavor. I also like that it's not super heavy. Sometimes the crust can feel very dense, and this one actually feels kind of light. Let's try the crust. I'm ready to give my ratings of Bartoli's deep dish pizza. For the crust, I'm gonna say a 5. I really love the outside. It reminds me of cornbread. There's a little bit of sweetness. The sauce, I'm gonna give it a 4. Super solid, really nice flavor. Okay, so like when I look at the cheese, I wanna be like 5. When I taste it, it tastes solid. I'm looking for a little bit of like, wow. So I'll say 4. The sausage is delicious, but I'll give it a 3.
We're definitely off to a roaring start. That Bartoli's deep dish pizza was incredible, but it's time for our next stop on the deep dish pizzeria tour of Chicago. We're at Paisano's in the Rush and Division neighborhood. It's a cold, windy day. It snowed a ton yesterday, so I am ready for some more deep dish. Let's go inside. Paisanos. It was founded by Rudy Malnati Jr. in 1991, and today they have 4 locations across Chicago. We got a medium deep dish pizza with cheese and sausage. Rudy Malnati Jr., as you may have guessed, is the son of Rudy Malnati Sr., who we'll talk about later in the film, so make sure you keep it locked for that. We got a beautiful slice right here, lots of sauce, melty cheese, I can see a piece of sausage, Italian seasonings. Crust looks golden brown and delicious. Why am I still talking? Let's dig into this deep dish pizza slice. You pick up the slice and the cheese and sausage is gonna fall everywhere while it's hot. Unless you're eating this cold, you wanna use a fork and knife. Trust, let's go. Wow, that is incredible. Oh my God. That crust is nice and crispy even though it's on the bottom of the pan. Something about this crust where it's a little bit extra crispy, I really love that. Of course, like the pizza is incredibly delicious. Keep in mind, I worked legs earlier, so I built up a nice appetite. Also keep in mind, this is not a fast food. When you come into a deep dish pizzeria, you gotta expect to wait 35, 40 minutes for that pie to be baked to perfection. So just keep that in mind. They're gonna tell you it takes 35 minutes, is that okay? So. But of course it's okay. You can't rush perfection. This is almost like a tavern style type of crunch to the crust. And you got big pieces of sausage in there. Tomato sauce is really, really savory. There are also Italian seasonings all over the top. Nice final touch. Now that's deep dish. I'm not sure why, but I feel like it tastes different when you cut it with a fork and knife versus when you're holding it in your hand and eating it. Put it in the comments below if you kind of have that same feeling when you're eating deep dish.
That is what you call a beautiful slice of pizza. The ambiance of this place is so fun. There's Chicago sports memorabilia all over the wall. I see a picture of Jordan back there. They make their pizza dough fresh daily, and they even have a gluten-free option. These tomatoes are so red, so red. Oh my gosh. My first bite of this pizza was amazing. I could taste the sweetness of the tomatoes and the sausage. It has a ton of flavor. The crust is nice and crispy, like Louis said. I'm really enjoying the extra spices. It is so much fun going around trying all these different deep dish pizza places. A unique experience, and I'm so glad that we're able to share it with you. This is my first Paisano pizza, and I am not disappointed. Ooh, you see the layers? For the crust, I'm gonna go with a 4. I really love how it's very nice and crispy all the way through. Underneath the pizza, on the edges, nice, crumbly, crispy. I have got to give the sauce 5 stars. It is amazing. The tomatoes are sweet. The sausage, I'll give that a 4. Delicious flavor. Now for the cheese, I'm gonna give that a 4 as well.
All right, I got my second slice. I had 2 slices at Bartoli's, so it's only fair to have 2 slices at every place before I give my rating. The pizza has cooled off quite a bit, so I don't really need a fork and knife anymore. I could eat it by hand. The cheese goes on top of the crust, and that's how the crust stays so crispy. I really like the crunch in this. So good. Talking about the crust, I would say 4.5 out of 5. I love the crunch, and I love that it's not too much crust, so you really focus on all the toppings, the cheese, the sauce, and the sausage, but it could have like a little tiny bit more flavor for me. The cheese for me, 5 out of 5, easy. It was super melty. Similarly, 5 out of 5 for the sauce. I just really love the Italian herbs and spices on the top, plus those tomatoes just really have a nice kick to them. And then finally the sausage, I would say 4 out of 5. I wish the sausage was just a little bit more flavorful. Definitely a great pizza here at Paisano's. One more bite. All right, we are ready to devour our next Chicago deep dish pizza. We are at the Art of Pizza in Lakeview. They've been here for over 30 years and now have a second location in the South Loop just east of Printers Row. The Art of Pizza comes with a lot of accolades besides you guys commenting all the time that we need to try Art of Pizza. First of all, in 2001, the Tribune named them the #1 deep dish pizza in Chicago. Thrillist named them #1 as well, and they made the Zagat list year after year after year. Here's my slice. It's cooled a little bit, so fork and knife, we threw that away. You can get this pizza by the slice. Technically, it's a stuffed pizza, but we're gonna throw it in the ring with the rest of the deep dish pizzas. Let's take a bite.
That is a big bite. Like, the crust isn't crispy, but it does have a good chew to it. So far, this is really, really amazing, and it's different from all the pies that we've tried so far. So when I first heard the name Art of Pizza, I thought it was like an artistic pizza, like the sauces, the paint strokes, but it's actually from the name of the owner, Art Chabez. So when you get to the end, the crust actually is a lot crispier. The taste is reminding me a little bit of pan pizza. I'm ready to give my ratings of this Art of Pizza, deep dish or stuffed pizza, whatever you want to call it. Starting with the crust, 3 out of 5. I like the chew to it. I like the crispiness on the outside, but I gotta say that it is just a touch too greasy for me. The cheese is a 5 out of 5 for me. This is exactly the type of cheese that you want in a pizza, deep dish or otherwise. Super melty, it's a little salty, great, great flavor. The sauce, I'm gonna give a 4 out of 5. Chunky, there's a lot of it, definitely very flavorful. Finally, the sausage, I would say 3.5 out of 5. I can't really find the sausage among this mountain of pizza, so I did pick out a little piece, tasted it on its own. It had a little bit of spiciness to it, but the flavor just wasn't all the way there for me.
We're in Lakeview and it's my first time at Art of Pizza. I'm so excited to try this. This is a ginormous slice of pizza. Even when I picked it up, the cheese was just stringy the whole way. This pizza smells incredible. It's got tons of sauce dripping off the sides. This is like a thicker pizza compared to the others that we've been to. It's taller. Every single time I've cut a slice, you could see this amazing cheese pull right there. Look at that. The crust, I'm gonna give it a 4. I was actually enjoying it once I got to the end of it. It's hard to taste the actual crust on the bottom of the pizza. There's 2 layers, one at the bottom and then one right underneath the sauce. The sauce, I'm gonna give it a 5 because that is what I think is very much forward in this pizza, and I liked it. It had those Italian seasonings on the top of it, and it had great flavor. The cheese, I'm gonna give that a 5. I was just having so much fun when I did the cheese pull. It reminded me of eating mozzarella sticks. I'm gonna give the sausage a 3. I kind of had a hard time finding the sausage. It was almost like a scavenger hunt. Overall, really solid pizza. Huge slices, which is really fun. It tastes amazing.
Overall, again, another super solid deep dish pizza. Can't wait to eat some more. So far, we have eaten 3 of the best deep dish pizzas in Chicago, but we still have 2 incredible pies to devour. Plus, make sure you keep it locked because we'll be crowning the champion, not just of Chicago, but the entire world. For our next deep dish pizza, we're actually not even in a pizzeria, but rather our Lincoln Park apartment. And that's because My Pie Pizza is currently doing only delivery or carry out, but we couldn't let that get in the way of throwing it in the ring with the rest of the challenges for Chicago's best deep dish pizza. My Pie Pizza has been around since 1971. They actually have a really cool story, which I'll start to tell you about after I take my first bite of this amazing deep dish pizza. The first My Pie Pizza opened up in the Rogers Park neighborhood of Chicago in 1971, and 2 years later they became the first Chicago deep dish restaurant to open outside of the state of Illinois, and they actually had franchises all over the country, even one, ironically enough, in Gainesville, Florida. Only one remains, and that is in Bucktown. Really, really crunchy. Because we got this pizza delivered, it didn't arrive in that fresh out the oven state. We had to throw it in the oven for about 10 minutes on 350, kind of bring it back up to normal temperature. Still really good, but I would imagine it's gonna taste even better if you get it right there. A little pro tip, by the way, if you get deep dish pizza delivered to your house, you wanna ask for it uncut. The crust for me is a 5 out of 5. I really like that it has a nice crisp, reminds me of tavern style pizza, but after that crunch, you get that softer, doughy type of feel, and the crust isn't even really that thick. With the cheese, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. It's just not a lot of cheese. I can't really decide if I love the cheese or if it's just okay, because there's just not that much of it. I really love the sauce, the Italian herbs on top, the tomatoes is falling out every bite I take, and they give it a little char too, so you get little black spots on the sauce. A unique twist, 5 out of 5. And then finally the sausage, I have to give a 3 out of 5. First of all, again, just like the cheese, there's not a whole lot of sausage, and then when you do bite, it's not bad, but it's just okay. And when you're talking Chicago style deep dish pizza with Italian sausage, you want that sausage to be flavorful. You keep eating.
I've never actually even heard of My Pie Pizza. I don't know how Louis finds all these gems. We stuck it in the oven and I have been working up my appetite because it has now wafted all through the apartment. This is probably the first deep dish pizza in my whole life that I haven't needed a fork and knife for. Right off the bat, the first thing that I taste is the tomato. A really strong flavor. The crust has held itself together really well. It's not like flopping over. It doesn't have as much cheese. I didn't see a cheese pull when we cut into it. Now for the part you've been waiting for, my ratings of the My Pie pizza. Starting with the crust, I'm gonna give that a 5. I can now really appreciate the bread. The bakers of this pizza, the sausage, I'm gonna give that a 2. Didn't have any wow factor. I'm gonna give the sauce a 4, and then I'm also gonna give the cheese a 4. I think with the cheese, I was a little bit disappointed at first that it didn't have the cheese pull, which is something that I always just like to see. I actually really enjoy the flavor of the cheese, and there's not too much of it that it's overwhelming for the pizza. I think it's a really nice balanced slice of pizza. A+ for My Pie.
We couldn't make this film without paying homage to the birthplace of deep dish pizza, Uno's. Founded in 1943 by Rick Ricardo and Ike Sewell. Uno's claims that Sewell invented the deep dish pizza, but many more give that distinction to Rudy Malnati Sr., who was the chef at Uno's. A true Chicago-style deep dish pizza is a deep crust followed by mozzarella cheese, finally the sauce, toppings, and sometimes a little bit more cheese. Since its creation, deep dish pizza has become a worldwide phenomenon with chains like Giordano's and Lou Malnati's emerging. And by the way, if you love films just like this that dive deep into regional cuisines, make sure you subscribe. We featured Pequod's in our Ultimate Chicago Travel Guide of 2021. It blew us away. We are back to throw their pie into the mix for Chicago's best deep dish pizza. Welcome to Pequod's. Out of all the deep dish pizzerias that we've gone to during this film, Pequod's stands out. First, because they're the only one that actually was founded in the suburbs, then came into the city of Chicago. They're also unique because it's not a true Chicago-style deep dish pizza, but rather a pan pizza that's made in a deep dish. In 1992, they came to Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood. We recommend this to almost everybody that we care about. Even though they do call this a pan pizza, it is very close to Chicago-style deep dish pizza. That crust had a nice crispy crunch to it. Then the inside was a little bit softer, kind of like a freshly baked bread. That sausage is extremely flavorful. So we've tried a lot of deep dish pizza in the past several days. You may be wondering, has this changed our outlook on deep dish? Are we gonna be eating it more? Probably not. It's still a hefty meal. I would only wanna eat once in a while or if we're filming for the channel. With that said, when family and friends come into town, we'll have better options to give them for deep dish. This might be the most savory sauce that we've had. A lot of the other ones were more of like a tangy, very tomatoey. This is just a phenomenal slice of pizza.
What is up? We are at Pequod's. The entire time I was filming, my mouth was watering. I just wanted to eat this pizza as soon as possible. I am so psyched to try this. This is a cheesy pizza. You could actually eat this pizza backwards. Seriously loaded with flavor. Siri turned on because I was so excited talking to you about pizza. Now for the caramelized crust. Oh my gosh. The caramelized crust is the best part of this pizza. That's a winner.
Outside of the chain, Pequod's might be the most famous deep dish pizza restaurant in Chicago. Like a freshly baked Italian bread with cheese, sauce, and toppings. This is the caramelized crust. This is what Pequod's is probably most famous for. It is truly a game changer. So good. I did notice that as the pizza cools off, it's not quite as crispy. Just keep that in mind. It's very crispy when it's hot out the oven. But like My Pie and Paisano's pizza, that crust stays crispy even as the pizza cools down. All right, after a slice and a half, starting with the crust, oh man, I'm gonna have to say 4.5 out of 5. I love that caramelized crust. The crust, like I said, is almost like a freshly baked bread, but I have to think a half a point because once it starts to cool down, that crunch disappears. And that's kind of a big deal to me. That first slice was like crunch, and I really love that. The sauce, I'm gonna have to give a 4 out of 5. It's very savory, but I am missing those whole tomatoes that we've had in some of the other pies. The cheese, I'm gonna give a 4 out of 5, and the Italian sausage is a perfect 5 out of 5 in my opinion. It's so flavorful, it comes in big chunks. You're not going on a scavenger hunt through the cheese and the sauce. Overall, Pequod's comes through again. Love this place, and I can definitely say we will come back again and again. Oh, yum, yum, yum.
For the sausage, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. So much flavor. The cheese, I'm gonna give a 5 out of 5. Every time I walk in, I smell mozzarella sticks kind of like wafting through the restaurant. For the sauce, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Love it. Last, for the crust, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 because I so much love this mozzarella caramelized crust. That is what makes this pizza what it is. I'm obsessed with it. Luis has been working so hard, running calculations behind the scenes to give you the most unbiased ranking of the best deep dish pizzas in Chicago. But with that said, I wanted to share mine too, so here they are. At number 5 is Art of Pizza. 4, I'm gonna put My Pie. 3 is gonna be Paisano's. 2 is gonna be Bartoli's. And number 1, Pequod's.
We've eaten so much Chicago deep dish pizza in the past several days. It's been quite the journey, but the moment of truth is here. My official 2022 ranking of the best deep dish pizza in Chicago. Keep in mind, no matter where the pizza pie lands on this list, it's gonna be a phenomenal option. Coming in at number 5, the Art of Pizza. I guess I'm just not really a big fan of the whole stuffed pizza thing, and that's what Art of Pizza is. It's the thickest pizza pie that we had during this journey. Coming in at number 4 is My Pie. Now, I thought because we didn't get it fresh out the oven, that maybe that affected its final score. But really reflecting on it, there just wasn't that much cheese nor Italian sausage. Kind of like a more hipster, refined version of deep dish pizza. It's definitely gonna be the lightest option out of any of these pizzas. At number 3, we got Paisano's. That's your classic Chicago style deep dish pizza that traces its origins all the way back to the inventor of deep dish pizza, Rudy Malnati Sr. At number 2, we got Pequod's. They got that caramelized crust, great Italian sausage, but I had to take a couple of points away because strictly speaking, it's not a technical Chicago style deep dish pizza. That said, it is still pizza baked in a deep dish here in Chicago. And of course, you know, at number 1, Bartoli's. I'm gonna have to agree with Steve Dolinsky. It is the best deep dish pizza in Chicago, hands down. Everything was phenomenal. A great friendly staff. We had so much fun. Next time you wanna eat deep dish pizza, remember, the best is baked right here in Chicago. Peace and blessings.